Like many other health conditions, living with HIV is a lifelong process and requires you to be committed to taking medications continually. Throughout your life, you'll have periods of time when it's easy to be motivated to take medications and continue with treatment, and you'll have other times in your life when it's difficult to stay motivated and you may want to give up. Although you may expect that you will continually improve as your treatment progresses, this may not be the case. Everyone experiences ups and downs, and good days and bad days. This graph shows the difference between what most people believe their treatment progress should look like and the reality of how progress usually happens. At times during your treatment, you may experience a worsening of your symptoms or difficulty using the skills that you've learned. Instead of losing hope, look at these times as opportunities to gather information about what contributed to the negative change and use this knowledge to better prepare yourself in the future. Many people experience something called treatment fatigue. This is when you get tired of taking medications or going to appointments, and you may want to take a break from treatment or just stop altogether. Think about whether or not you've experienced treatment fatigue since you've been diagnosed with HIV. Use the worksheet to check off the aspects of treatment or things in your life that tend to cause treatment fatigue. Let's develop a plan for how you will cope with treatment fatigue if it happens to you in the future. What are some warning signs that you're experiencing treatment fatigue? What are ways that you can cope with treatment fatigue? In a few minutes, Matt will tell us about his experiences with treatment fatigue and how he has learned to cope with times when he loses motivation to stay in treatment. But first, let's talk about what to do when you do miss doses or drop out of treatment for a period of time and how to work back into it. When I work with people in the clinic, I often hear them tell me, "I'm so tired of taking my medications, what's the point?" I look at my medications and I'm like, really? This again today? Someone else told me recently, "Why should I sit here and take all of these pills when I'm going to die anyways?" These thoughts are warning signs that these individuals are experiencing treatment fatigue, which may cause them to slip up in taking their medications or skipping doctor's appointments. There are other reasons for slip-ups to happen, like going out of town for a week, changing your routine, or not wanting to take medications with alcohol or other drugs while you're out partying. If a slip-up occurs, the best choice is to return to taking your medications and treatment as soon as possible, instead of acting on hopeless thoughts and giving up. Identifying what led to the slip-up can provide you with important information that can help you develop a plan to cope with it in the future. It is important that you practice good coping strategies to avoid future slip-ups. Slip-ups are normal and not a big problem. They only become a big problem when they cause you to give up on your treatment and to stop taking your medications or missing doctor's appointments. As a doctor, I want the patients I work with to be honest and open with me and tell me when they have had a slip or when medications just don't fit into their lifestyle. It's helpful for me to know if a patient parties on the weekend and what drugs they use. That way we can develop a plan together. It's difficult for your doctors to know what the best form of treatment is if we don't know these important pieces about you. It's also important for your doctor to know how your medications or HIV is impacting your sex life. Talking to your treatment team about these difficult topics can be helpful even though it's uncomfortable. One thing to remember though is that we have these conversations with other people almost every day. We expect our patients to bring these topics up, and we want you to feel comfortable enough to talk to us about it. If you don't feel comfortable with one of your doctors, it may be a good idea to find another doctor or a nurse or a counselor that you can have these conversations with. Remember, slip-ups are completely normal. Over the long run, successfully dealing with short-term slip-ups will help you to maintain the positive results of your treatment. Now in your workbook, think about which situations are you most likely to slip up. How have you coped with slips in the past? What will you do if a slip happens in the future? Next, identify potential barriers. What kinds of thoughts do you think may keep you from restarting your medications or going to the doctor's appointments if you've had a slip? And make a plan. What can you do to pick yourself up and start where you left off before you had a slip? What can you learn from a slip-up that will help you avoid another in the future? What can you learn from this experience? Let's listen to how Matt has handled treatment fatigue and slips in his life.